Hello, everyone. Hope you had a great Easter. It's time for a new episode of Record Collecting with a Quill. Theme for today, well, we're going to talk a little bit about Rick Rubin, the famous producer who's for 35 years has been is in charge of a bunch of fantastic albums and a couple of so-so albums as well. So I decided to go through his career with a bunch of albums that have been important to me. He's overseen well over 100 albums over these years, so it's impossible to go through all of them, but I will pick some of my favorite and some, at least one, I think where he missed the mark a little bit. But before we start, you know the drill. Make sure you subscribe and hit that little notice bell as well. Well, Rick Rubin, he started out mainly, he got famous through producing hip hop. He was in charge of Run DMC, and I first came aware of him in 1987 with this one. It's actually not an album. The Beastie Boys, this is a 12-inch I got in 1987, Fight for Your Right to Party. And it had two songs. It was two songs that made a huge impression on me when I was 14 years old. It was Fight for a Right to Party and also No Sleep Till Brooklyn. It was sort of something really different in the heavy music and the rapping. And I think my memory is not that great from those years for various reasons, but I think I first came aware of this one. But I think the Run DMC, Aerosmith are probably the one who was sort of the groundbreaker in a way, but that was two acts, one 70s act and one 80s act working together, but Beastie Boys were something totally new, a group that was mixing hard rock riffs with rapping. But I remember this Fight for a Right to Party. It was the perfect song when you're like 14, 15, 16 years old. And I really enjoy it still. And I remember we were watching the video as well. It's kind of a fun video when you're that age. And I really enjoy this still. It's part of my childhood. So first pick, the Beastie Boys, and the album, of course, is License to Ill. I have that somewhere as well, but this is the one I first got. Cool one. I'm trying to. I will probably go sort of in chronological order, and the next album I picked of his, where it's actually a connection to the Beastie Boys album, is Slayer, Rain in Blood. It was a pivotal album both for Slayer and also for Rick Rubin, I believe. This is the breakthrough album for Slayer. He got them more focused and he recorded them better, I think, and kept it really simple. The album is really short. I think, if my memory is correct, it's under 30 minutes, but it's to the point and it's aggressive and it's everything we love about Slayer. And he did a great job, and also, as I said, it was a connection to the Beastie Boys record where he had Kerry King record a guitar solo for that one as well. So he sort of mixed them, once again hard rock with rap music. But this is a really cool one. I enjoyed the shit of this one. Next one, yeah, this is a super important one as well. The Red Hot Chili Peppers' Blood, Sugar, Sex and Magic. Was the real breakthrough album for I think both Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it really got Rick Rubin in the mainstream fold as well. You had some huge hits from this one, Give It Away, Under the Bridge, and a great album, and kind of a fun story. I mean, Rick Rubin as a producer, from what I've read, he's not like one of those producers who's really knows his music and plays the instrument. He's more about the vibe and creating a good vibe for the band's recording. And for this album, they rented a house to record in the magician Harry Houdini's house that was said to be haunted, and I think certainly helped the vibe of the album. But this is a great one. is I think as well as the same with Slay. I think Rick Rubin, when he was young, he was really good at sort of guiding bands to sort of finding themselves and keeping it simple. And his production style are quite often sort of simplistic. You have not much reverb. There's rarely this big string arrangement. He's keeping it simple. So really often really dry vocals and stuff as well, but sort of the songs are in focus, and this is one I enjoyed tremendously as well. And he's recorded with Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think for most of their albums through their career, but I think this is still their best one. Next one is also one where he helped more sort of a seasoned artist to achieve greatness, the Tom Petty Wildflowers album. And this is actually managed to track down a vinyl copy of this one. It's quite hard to get a hold of. It was released in the box set. You have everything here with a, I don't know if I showed this one before, but it's a double album, and it's Tom Petty at his best, and I think once again he helped with the vibe of the recordings for this one, where Tom was a little bit lost. He was sort of in transition, firing Stan Lynch in the Heartbreakers, and he was also going through a divorce at the time, or it started here, sort of the process for the divorce has started. If you watch those great documentaries that's been made about this album. But this is certainly one of his greater achievements, Rick Rubin. I think he helped Tom Petty really nail this one. Fantastic album. Put this one there. I'm a little bit, since that one is a little bit expensive. Next one is one I think where he missed the mark completely. ACDC Bullbreaker. From where I read, Rick Rubin is a huge ACDC fan, so he was probably really pleased getting the chance to work with these guys. And they started out recording the single Big Guns at first, which was successful, and they decided to work for a full album and came up with this, which I don't think is really that good at all. I've never been fond of this album. I think it lacks both songs and energy in a way, and I read the guys in ACDC wasn't too pleased with it. They had trouble finding a good recording studio. They started out in New York and ended up in Los Angeles in the end, just because they couldn't find a good drum sound. And from what I read about ACDC recording albums, they are all about the sound, not so much about the vibe. So maybe that's why it didn't work out. And also Rick Rubin was quite absent from the recording as well. He produced the By Your Side album, I think. No, what's it called? A Red Hot Chili Peppers album. Never mind. He was producing two albums at the same time, so his focus was probably lacking a little bit as well. The only good thing about this one is that it's the first album that has Phil Rudd back on drums again, but that's one of his misses. Next one I'm really fond of is this one, the Audioslave album with Chris Cornell from Soundgarden and teaming up with the guys from Rage Against the Machine. And this one I was really fond of when it came out. I think this has some great songs, great recording, great vibe overall. And it's a shame they didn't last more than, they made two more albums after this one, but I think this is by far the greatest one. Great mix with Rage Against the Machine's groove and great riffing, and Chris Cornell's fantastic vocals, and also his lyrics. That's probably one of the better lyricists the past 20 years or so. So it's a shame his life ended way too early. But a great album, and the first Audioslave one. And another one I think came around the same time is this one, maybe not as famous, the Mars Volta, Deloused in the Comatorium. And it was an album I think I read about it in some magazine and bought it and was totally flabbergasted when I heard it. It was so weird, but I loved every minute of it. And I think were a great band, the Mars Volta. They made some always exciting stuff. Sometimes you don't understand what they're doing at all, but there's a craziness to them. And I haven't seen them live, but I've seen live clips of them and seem to be really energetic in a live setting. So I hope I get to see them someday if they decide to reform. I don't know what the status is right now. I think they've been on and off for a couple of years, but this is still their first album. It's a great one. The Mars Volta, Deloused in the Comatorium. And my last pick is one where I had super high expectations, and I think it came out okay, but it could have gone a lot better. And it's of course this one, the last Black Sabbath album called 13, which I think he was really pleased, Rick Rubin, to produce this one. And I think the sound of it is really cool, but I think it lacks songs a little bit. I think there's a couple of they should have the album should have benefited from a couple more fast songs, but I think it's been the problem with everything Tony Iommi has released. The stuff he did with Heaven and Hell as well is he tends to go for all the heavy stuff, which we of course love, but you have to have a couple of fast ones to mix it up. And as I said, I think this came out okay, but it could have gone a lot better. This is a standard vinyl edition, and there's some great outtakes you can find on the called The End album. It was sold in shows, and I think I have a CD copy of it in my collection. No vinyl, sadly, but I think this is okay end to the legacy of Black Sabbath as a recording unit. It's definitely much better than the last studio album they put out before this one called Forbidden. So I think in the end it came out fine, but it could have been a lot better. Yeah, so my last pick of the Rick Rubin albums is Black Sabbath 13. Now I'm really curious to hear what your favorite albums are. There's tons of stuff I decided not to show. Johnny Cash, for instance. I love the album he did with him, but I had one of his albums in an episode just, I believe, last week or so I decided to sort of mix it up a little bit. But what are your hits of his, and are there any albums that you don't fancy at all? For whatever reason, I would love to hear it and write a comment in the comment section or in the Facebook groups where I post this as well. It's always fun to hear back from you. And as usual, I will put a couple of tracks from each album in the Spotify playlist. You'll find a link to that below. And also make sure you follow the QUILL on social media. It's the QUILL Sweden. We're gearing up for the 30th anniversary show on May 26th. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got to meet my dear old friend Robert Trickus. Came by. I think, what was it, Thursday, and jammed a couple of tunes. So I guess you could probably put one and one together, and he's going to be one of the guests for that show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But we have a lot more guests coming up. So make sure you follow us on social media so you get all the latest news. And as I said, tickets are available as well. So make sure you grab one before they run out. It's been selling really strong for the last couple of days, actually. So that's it for now. Make sure you check out us or me next week again for a new episode. We'll see what we talk about. I think I have a box of records coming from Japan actually, so I think we'll probably do a little bit of unboxing because there's stuff there I don't even remember what I bought. It's been laying there at a sort of a proxy site I buy from, so it's been laying there for like half a year, just gaining different stuff I bought from various vendors there. So it's going to be a lot of fun for me, and I hope you will enjoy watching it as well. But that's it for now. Cheers for watching. Thanks for watching, and cheers. See you all again next week. Bye.